Hey, hey, hey. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's make sure Todd is there.
Can you hear
Can
me?
I can hear you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
So I'm talking about. Okay, we're talking about breast cancer and mammography. Mammogram. That's what we talked about. Breast cancer and mammogram. Okay, so let's get this party started. Let me see here. Since everybody want to be. Yeah, yeah.
Can you still hear me?
Oh, you can hear me,
I
right?
can hear you. Yes.
Okay, yeah, I hit the wrong button. Let me see here. You hear that music?
Yep.
Okay, so we're talking about breast cancer mammography. Everybody, uh, uh, what do you think? You know, what do you think most important for women when it comes to breast cancer and mammograms? I mean, if you were going to help someone, what, how would you do that?
You're asking me that question?
Absolutely.
Well, the first thing I would tell people if they're worried about breast cancer is to take preventative measures, which means don't wait until you get breast cancer to address breast cancer.
Okay, so preventative measures. Uh, I know people understand what that is, but I don't think people think that's a thing. Because remember now, before you became wise to herbs, you didn't do preventative measures for anything. Would you agree?
They do preventative measures for stuff like their car. They change their oil.
No, no, they don't. They don't do that for preventative. They do that because they were told to do that. They don't do that because they think it's going to keep the motor longer, or make the motor longer, last longer. I don't think the average person really considers prevention in any form until they have an understanding of what it really is. I mean, we're talking about human body. Is that your phone, Doc?
Yes, somebody's chiming in, Jimmy.
Okay. Yeah, I think people are only think about prevention when they learn that it actually exists. Because out the door, you don't know that prevention exists. I mean, you have to give thought to prevention because now you're doing things to prevent something from happening. That means you must consciously know that it exists, understand it, and then execute it. When it comes to the human body, people don't think that they're not going to get cancer when they're young, especially when they're young. And even when they get old and have a problem, they're not taught prevention. They're taught management, medication. So for anybody who is faced with breast cancer or any other form of cancer, don't know that they have better options than medicine. They think medicine is the only and best option. That's why they run to the doctor first. Agree or disagree?
I agree.
Okay, so now that being said, anybody listening who has breast cancer or any form of cancer, we're talking about breast cancer mammogram today. If you gotta prevention is better than remedy or cure. If you go get a mammogram and it hurts you to do it, that doesn't make any sense to me. A mammogram hurts. It's not a comfortable task. But the fact that it hurts means something's wrong with it. Name something else you go do for prevention and it hurts. Name anything.
Mm, how about vaccination shots?
Doesn't hurt. It's a needle. It's a pin. But wait a minute.
People,
Don't go down that road. Hey, Tom, don't go down that road because that's a bad thing too. Shit. That's just as bad as mammogram, if you ask me.
okay,
Because not because you use some complicated words, because why would you go and get a disease put in you for your body to fight it off when you don't have the disease?
that's a
You
topic.
know what they
That's a topic
huh?
for that's a good topic for another
Thank
podcast.
you. Okay, so you can't use vaccination as something that hurts someone for prevention. Can't use that one. You got to give me something
Okay,
else. Even okay, when we go get tested for you know how they make you cough, put your hand under your gonads and make you cough. That don't hurt. That don't hurt.
no,
I'm just trying to think of something that they do to you to test you for something without it hurting or with it hurting. With it hurting you. There is nothing. So mammograms is by far the worst thing a woman can get for the detection of something that she may or may not have. So I don't recommend a mammogram. I wouldn't recommend, and there are doctors on YouTube who say the same thing. They don't recommend mammograms. It makes no sense. But it's always up to the individual. All we say is look at all your options. Prevention is better than remedy or cure.
right,
So as herbalists, and this is just our opinion. This is a we're not giving medical advice. This is just our opinion. We give our opinion based on nature, based on what herbs actually do. And I think I want to like to add this to this. I don't People don't realize that herbs are the only means by which the human body can get minerals or nutrients. You can't consume enough of any food to get the actual amount of minerals and nutrients you need on a daily basis. It's impossible. It's probably impossible. So, with that thought in mind, the only way to get the minerals and nutrients that you actually need, that is going to help your body keep you well, heal itself, repair your DNA, is through herbs, through plants. Now, but people aren't taught this. So, a person with cancer, any form of breast cancer, don't realize that there are plants that will eradicate breast cancer out of the human body. And I didn't make this up. This is not my opinion or my idea. This is just based on research and study. And there's proof. You know, you don't need, okay, how they come at you. You don't need medical research for proof. How does medical research relate to herbal proof? Remember, herbs were here before man. Medicine wasn't. Man is some Medicine is something man created. And the sad part of that is when you go to your doctor who is serving you that poison, he didn't create it.
right.
Anybody
That's
can
true.
Wait a minute. Anybody can study plants, right? And
Right.
and benefits and how they work with the DNA and how they work with your genetic makeup and how they, how they're actually here for you because you come from the same source that the plants come from, the ground. Hello. Anybody
Yeah.
home? Knock knock. Anybody home?
Yeah, that's true.
So if a person has breast cancer, my first thing would be is okay, first and foremost, you have option. My first question always is, what is cancer? If cancer is a cellular malfunction, start right there. If cancer is a cellular malfunction in any form, it's a cells not dying off. How does that relate to poison? How does that relate to using a poison to eradicate those cells? I mean, you went to the extreme to get rid of something that's on the cellular level in the human body that is malfunctioning. Why don't we go back to that same extreme to the cellular level and address the cause of that first? That would be the first thing I would think to do is address the cause. I mean, what would you think?
Well, you always want to address the cause. So, however, that's not what's offered when you go dealing with breast cancer. You're given a you're given chemotherapy, which is designed to kill off cancer cells, but while also killing off healthy cells as well.
So they offer nothing other than chemotherapy out the gate. Like you know how when they first say, "Okay, you got a stage one breast cancer," right? What do they offer at stage one breast cancer?
They might not jump right into the chemotherapy right away, but they put you on like a waiting list. Let's wait and see if it gets better. If it doesn't get better, then we'll go to the chemotherapy later.
Problem number one: you don't ever wait for a disease to grow in the human body. You address the cause in the beginning, and you eradicate everything else. I mean that's common sense to me. I know sense isn't common in today's society, but I guess that applies across the board too, because women who find themselves with breast cancer, their fear level is so high at that point because they don't know what breast cancer is. And their first thought, everybody has the misnomer that cancer is a killer. They have been brainwashed to saying that cancer is the killer. Cancer's not the killer. Cancer is just some cells don't want to die. And I kind of make it sound like it's really nothing, right? But the word has a connotation that speaks death in the ear of the person who is suffering from it. Their first thought is, "I'm dying. I'm going to die." No, cancer ain't never killed nobody. It's the treatment of cancer that kills everybody, and it by itself. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people who were alive before they did that treatment, and now they're gone. But I've talked to other people who were alive and didn't do the treatment, but they're still here. See, one and one make two all day. If you can't put that together, then again, ignorance kills more people than knowledge. Would you agree with that?
That's true.
Okay,
So
so go ahead.
I think the first thing people need to understand is what is see. Okay, breast cancer is very popular today with people wearing the going on the walks to raise money and wearing the pink ribbons to bring awareness to that. However, those things are
You faded out, Todd. I can't hear you. I can't hear you, Todd. You gone. You gone.
Can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay.
I can hear you now. Go ahead.
So so when people wear the pink ribbons to bring attention to cancer, or they go to on the walks to raise money, those are well intentions. Those are good intentions, but they don't solve the problem. And the problem is they're raising money for research to address the symptom and not address the cause. So that's why it's not going to get solved.
Okay, stop right there. I think that's important. Stop right there. You said they are raising money to address the symptoms instead of the cause.
Correct.
People don't think about that, Todd. If you got breast cancer in any form, or any kind of cancer in any form, your first thought has to be the cause. What caused this? Because let me ask you this: if you know what caused it, can you fix it? Yes or no?
Yes.
So you're saying if you don't know what caused it, you can't ever fix it?
Correct. Correct.
Wow.
So
It,
maybe you're living too close to some electrical wires. So if you don't move away from electrical wires, you're gonna keep getting cancer. So you have to look at what's causing it. If it's something you're doing in your diet, if you're smoking cigarettes, or whatever you're doing, if you're not solving the cause, you're not going to get rid of this situation.
So people really need to start addressing the cause of their problems as opposed to the symptoms. Okay, so maybe that's how we need to approach helping people. Maybe we need to restructure I don't know, our name, our approach, our verbiage. You know, we are cause solvers. Hey, Tom, we're
Right.
cause, huh?
Yeah, cause investigators. I guess.
Cause
Yeah.
investigators. I like that. Even call we're cause investigators. Oh, dude, I like that. That's a good idea. I didn't think about that. We need to come at this from a whole nother perspective because people who are suffering from breast cancer or any form of cancer, so they don't think like this. They don't. I know for a fact they don't because when I talk to people who call me and they have cancer, the first thing I say is, "Man, when the doctor told me I had it, I was afraid. I was scared." It never dawned on that person to say, "Okay, you wait a minute. What caused this?" Because if I know what caused it, maybe I can get rid of it. Maybe I can fix it.
Right.
I mean, wow. So
And,
fear, huh?
and see, it's part of it is what part of the problem also is what they tell women to do. So they tell women to come in and get their annual or biannually mammogram, and they package that as a preventative measure. Like this is prevention, and it gives people a false sense of security by doing that. You're going to prevent yourself from catching cancer.
Okay, so as an investigator, okay, wait a minute. Stop. So as an investigator, you got to tell people don't fall for that. Come in and get that colos, what
Oh,
that
for the colonoscopy or the mammograms.
mammograms. Don't fall for that because the odds are when they're telling you to come in, it's either too late or meaning you've already got the issue. Which watch this. Which now they're only interested in fixing the symptoms, never the cause. Because in anybody that I've ever talked to who has cancer has never said, you know, my doctor was working on the cause. My doctor looked at what caused it and started addressing the issue from that perspective. No one has ever said that to me.
But you know what? It's common sense. So for example, if your
Oh,
toilet, for example, let's just say something like if your toilet is backed up, you got to find out what's the cause of it being backed up. You can't fix it if you don't figure out what's causing it.
that's so true. That's so true. Oh my God. Wait a minute, that don't apply to health though. Human
It,
beings.
it's supposed to apply to everything.
I agree, but it doesn't. Would you agree? Okay, let me ask you this: how many people you have come to you with that thought or idea? How many
No,
people?
they don't come with that thought of idea because they've been taught to wait until you catch something and come in here so we can fix it or so we can
Wow.
manage it.
Right.
So when you give people these false sense of security, saying that you come and get your mammogram, these are not preventative measures. But people
Okay.
believe,
You know what you just said? That's our marketing approach, whether you know it or not.
right?
Think about what you just said. That's a perfect marketing approach. Campaign, call it what you want, because what you just said is true. Nobody thinks, okay, how did you say that? That was perfect.
You know, I don't remember I said it, but
I didn't
basically,
know.
they're telling you they're packaging these procedures as preventative measures when they're not preventative. So, for example, you give people a false sense of security. Say, you know what? If you come in you tell a woman every year or every other year, come in and get your mammogram, and like that's going to prevent you from catching cancer. That's not. All that's going to do is what that is early detection. And see what you don't want early detection. You want prevention. You don't want to ever catch it. But because you're not doing anything to prevent yourself from catching cancer, you're going to eventually probably get it. So
Wow.
since no one's teaching you how to prevent it, the next best thing is let's catch it in stage one. Let's catch it in stage two. Let's catch it in stage 3. Let's catch it in stage 4. Let's just catch it before it kills you.
Not let's stop it from happening
Let's not
altogether.
have it at all. Let's not have
Right.
it at all. Do you see
Okay. Okay.
animals? Do you see animals in the wild walking around with breast cancer? No.
No. No. No. No.
But
Only domesticated humans and domesticated animals got cancer.
right. So the problem is people don't take any preventative measures. So you should be taking some type of herbal supplement to prevent yourself from catching cancer. Like if you're taking like the Renee Case's SCIT, or you should be taking some type of herbal breast formula that's going to have ye tips or turmeric in it and stuff like that. There's so many different things you can do to prevent yourself from having these situations. However, if you do nothing, then what do you think you're going to get?
But wait.
If you don't take any
Uh,
action, eventually you're going to get something.
yeah. Wow. Okay. So you know what? I think that's the key to what we're offering and doing is not only prevention, but we have to help people understand that their thinking is way off because, like you said, you apply that type of thinking to maintenance to the house, but you don't apply that to maintenance to the physical home that you live in, which is your body every day. You don't
You
apply
see,
that at all,
and here's
huh?
the thing. Here's another thing. People need to stop adhering to blind trust. So this is not against doctors, but blind trust is not appropriate and it's not safe. It's not safe because doctors aren't perfect and they don't know everything. So when you give blind trust into somebody who doesn't know everything and is not actually doing preventative measures but just doing management and early detection, you're setting yourself up for a bad outcome.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So if you have any form of cancer, the first thing I would tell you to do is address the cause. Don't address the symptoms. Forget the symptoms for a minute because you've been diagnosed and told you have this. I think the first thing you do is find out what causes it. Once you find out what causes anything, it's easier to fix because now you can pinpoint how to fix it because now you know what caused it. If you never know what causes it, and I offer you some type of management for the symptoms, then we never address the cause. That means you're never going to get rid of it. I don't care what they do to
Right.
you. If you're constantly doing what caused it, you're going to constantly have it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And see, here's the thing too. You can't subscribe to the belief that these things run in your family. You just can't do that because diseases don't have track shoes running up and down your family tree, tagging people and saying, you've got it now. No. The problem is that you and your parents and your grandparents were all living the same way. You guys were all eating the same diet, exposed to the same toxins, having the same ignorance of what to do, and you guys all end up with the same disease.
Okay, so the cap that I got to cap that. I got to cap that. Now, basically, you're saying there is no such thing as hereditary disease because hereditary disease means you inherit it from your family line.
Right. Now,
But
okay, so there are some things that you can inherit. However, degenerative diseases are not something that you inherit. You're causing that on yourself.
so then I don't buy I don't buy and I could be wrong here, but I don't believe in the lie that you inherit something from your family line. Although, like you said, it could happen. I don't buy it, even though I know it could happen, because I believe that the human body is so intelligent. When given what it needs, it will repair itself. See, man can't heal the human body. Only the body can heal the body. So when you address the body's DNA, when you address the body's genetic makeup, genetic code, you're actually now working with the body. If you never address the genetic code of the human body, you never work with the body. That means you're never giving it what it actually needs to heal itself, repair itself, or whatever it needs to do to have the best life for that body. Hereditary can simply be defined as, if you ask me, as people doing the same thing ending up with the same results. Because that's what happens when you do the same thing, you have the same results. Nothing changes.
Right.
But when you do something different, things change. So I agree with you with there is nothing running up and down anybody's family line except the same things that the forefathers were doing that they're doing. That's how you end up with the same results. There's just no way two people can have the same thing when they're doing different things.
Right.
Now, there are
So
people who believe in a hereditary line. I get that. I just happen to not. That's all.
not in the case of degenerative diseases. So if you're catching
Let me ask you,
cancer,
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. A person whose father was bald and they have a son. Now the son is going bald. Is that hereditary?
that could be hereditary. You could be predisposed to be bald, but there are things you could do to change that. But
See,
that
that's
could
why
be
I said that. Here's why I disagree. Just because the father, watch this, just because the father was lacking the minerals and nutrients that grow the follicles of the hair, so he had a son. That means now that his genetic is basically in line with at a certain age he's going to start losing his hair, right?
right.
Okay, so now anytime you feed the hair follicles, I don't believe you can lose the hair. See, the father never fed the hair follicles, so he lost the hair.
Mhm.
The son is born with hair. Why isn't the son? Why doesn't the son not have any hair in the beginning? Why doesn't he have any hair? See, so you can't tell me he has hair, but just because his father's lost his hair, he's going to lose his hair the same way.
Right, but you have to also realize that some people don't feed their hair follicles with nutrients, and they don't lose their hair. So you may be predisposed to have a weaker or a higher probability to lose your hair if you based on genetics. So, but that doesn't mean that you're actually that has to be your outcome. It doesn't have to be your outcome because you can do things to prevent these things from happening. But let's get back to breast cancer. So I think
Okay.
one of the things people want to know is, I know prevention is important, but a lot of people out there actually have it. And the last thing you want to do is have to have your breast cut off. Have these things, these outrageous surgeries that cost
Don't
lots of
do it.
money.
Don't do it.
So I think you should tell them about the SCIT, what's in it, why that's something that can help, and so people can understand, give them a reason, give them some hope that we're just not talking about something and not give
Right.
them some type of solution.
Before I say what's in the SAT and why I think you should take it, there's a book called Calling of an Angel. Please read it. Written by Dr. Gary Glum. Calling of an Angel. Read the book. First thing I like to tell people to do is get information, get knowledge. But secondly, do not, under any circumstance, get cut. No matter what you're told. Think about it like this. 9 out of 10 people who get cut die anyway. Okay, so if you got cut, that means you cut your breast off, they die anyway. Don't get cut. Secondly, find out what your options are. Don't ever go with just one option from anybody, from me or anybody. You have you must first know that you have options, because if you don't, then you are doomed because of a lack of, I call it ignorance. Because if you don't know something, you are ignorant to it. But when you know things, you're not ignorant to it. So get more information. Now, I recommend SCIT. In the book Calling of an Angel, this doctor wrote the book, but he did the research before he wrote the book. He discovered 4 herbs in that book that stops cancer cells without destroying the good cells. This isn't the only remedy for cancer, by the way. There are many of them. This is why, again, I say get, you know take your options, because Even the four herbs that I highly recommend for cancer that I've seen work, you know, that's just my perspective. That's just based off my research and my perspective, and the doctor's research and his perspective, because he's promoting basically the same thing: a way, a means to get rid of cancer without surgery. Todd,
Yeah, can you hear me?
that noise in the background, bro, you're killing me.
That was a motorcycle going by. Sorry about that.
Don't get cut before you check all your options. Do your own research. Read the book Calling of an Angel. I make the tea in that book. It's that tea. Four herbs: sheep sorrel, Turkish rhubarb, burdock, and slippery elm. One of those herbs are like the main herb in that tea, and sheep sorrel. It's the root, which you can't buy. You got to grow it yourself or find somebody with it. I make it with that root in it for that main reason, because I know the importance of it. After reading the book and doing my own research, I discovered what made that tea work. I highly recommend it, but don't take my word, because you can actually make this tea yourself. And I recommend people make it themselves, you know, but make sure you got all the right ingredients before you do. In the meantime, in between time, if you want it to just start it before you start making it yourself, I make it on my website, herbsoftheforest.com, SEACT. That's just an option. But I promote people making it themselves. That way, the more people who are making it and stay alive, the better our society is, if you ask me. So I highly recommend the SACT. I highly recommend the breast formula. I recommend blood and lymphatic formula. Because these are the things that you have to do to get your body back to where it's supposed to be, in a alkaline state. Because no disease, whether it's a bad cancer cell or some parasite, can't live in an alkaline environment. And you have to take the body back to its alkalinity in order to get rid of disease. If you ask me, and that applies across the board. What say ye, Todd?
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And I think people need to understand the main things that are causing you to catch cancer. So one is toxicity. So you're too toxic. Number two, your pH level is too low, meaning you're too acidic. Um, Not enough oxygen in your body, and then you're exposed yourself to cancer causing substances, whether it's food, whether it's pollution. So this is all leads to toxicity. So these are the main things that are causing your cancer. And over time, this doesn't happen over, this isn't instant, this is accumulation. So when your body is exposed to this level of hostile environment, the cells lose their function, and they start decide to just survive. Every cell has a function, but when the cancer cell, when it turns into a cancer cell, it's only trying to survive now. It's not doing its function.
And meat, I gotta say this, and meat, which is carcinogenic, is the highest form of cancer feeding food. Hot dogs are the worst, but meat in general is carcinogenic because of the way it is processed in our society today. So that is the number one reason for cancer in people's bodies today: meat. You are
Right.
growing cancer in your body right now if you're eating the meat from the grocery stores and you're feeding your child hot dogs. You've already started the process. So I think you should know that. Get the information. Call us, talk to us, find out the alternatives. But you got to call and get it. I ain't gonna say it. You got to call and get it. You know, Text us. Join us. Go to the website. Go to our YouTube channel. Even go to our podcast channel. You know,
You know what?
te- yes.
I think I think people already know that meat is not is the part of the
No,
problem.
no, they don't. They don't know that meat is
You know why?
carcinogenic
They,
because
they no listen. I don't think they don't admit it to themselves. But when you go to the grocery store and you see a
mm,
steak and it's wrapped in plastic and it's sitting on a piece of styrofoam, why is that meat red like that?
people
Like
don't
it's
ask that. You know why they don't ask that question? Because it looks fresh. That's why it's
right,
red like that.
but how is it fresh and looking red like that when it was cut? months ago.
because that thought never comes to anybody's mind when they're looking at it. They only have one ideal thought in their head when looking at meat. It must be red and look fresh. It doesn't dawn on them that you can fix the meat to make it look that way, no matter how old it is.
Right.
All
So
they're
so
looking
okay.
for is
So let me ask you a question. When you take that meat home and put it in your refrigerator, why does it not look red like that for long? It turns brown pretty quick. So but you can leave it in the grocery store for 2 weeks and it keeps looking red.
because they
So
keep putting chemicals on it. They can clean it
they
up every day to go.
they keep dyeing it, keep putting red dye
Yeah,
on it.
yeah, they can treat it in the grocery store. They can't treat it at your house, but they can treat it in the grocery store.
And you gotta also think about it. That plastic saran wrap is not even airtight. So
Nope, it sure isn't.
what makes you think that you can leave some bloody meat exposed to air and it will still look red like that?
Again, you're asking people to think the way they don't think. People don't think like that. Look, look, look. 90% of your society thinks on a third grade level, pimp. Those are big numbers.
Okay. So
So, so you're asking me to do some thinking that I don't do. I've never been trained to do. I never even given thought to. I don't even know that it exists. Really? You ask me to do something I can't do, or you ask me to do something I choose not to do. How about that?
or been conditioned not to do, huh?
That's even better. I like that word better. But wait a minute. What is conditioning?
Programming. You've been programmed.
Oh, damn, really? Well, there you go. Software, bad software, virus all the way through the software, right? So,
Yeah.
so we can't ask people to understand where we're at when their program is already virused. All we got to do again, which is why I'm glad we thought about it. We said it today. We now have to become the investigators for the people, and we're only going to reach so many people because people aren't ready to, people aren't ready to stop dying. People aren't ready to stop having breast cancer. They're only you know when you get ready to stop having breast cancer, Todd? When you got it,
When you catch it.
when you catch it. That's it. So now, think about how our approach is now. See, we got to come from a whole nother perspective because remember, we're only talking to the person that is looking for what we're talking about. We're not talking to the person that's not looking for what we're talking about.
See,
We're already to
here's
that.
the disconnect too. When people have friends that die from breast cancer or a family member, it doesn't click in their mind to prevent it themselves. What they do is they put the pink ribbon on, and they parade around the office or in society, letting everybody know that they are a survivor or they know somebody that died from breast cancer. So they're bringing awareness, but they don't make any steps to prevent it. So see, awareness is good, but prevention is better. It's nice to be aware that something's out there that's taking people out in society, bringing more attention to it, maybe raising money for it. But if you're not preventing it from actually happening to you and other people, it's kind of ineffective.
So then the real question is, which one do you want? Awareness or prevention? Which
What
do you
I
want?
want is prevention. I want prevention, but I'm not sure what the
Well,
public wants because the public is only
maybe
the public is only
that's what we need
engaged
to find
in
out.
awareness.
That's what we need to find out. That's our problem right there, Todd. We've never asked, what do you want? Prevention or or prevention or what was the other?
Awareness, awareness, and then
Okay,
awareness leads to management.
right, which leads to management. Okay, got it. I like that. What do you want? Prevention or awareness? Just because you're aware of something ain't gonna prevent it, or will it?
It only prevents it
Or
if
will
you take the right steps.
if you take action?
Yeah, to take the correct action.
So prevention gives you the ability to take the correct action, which you're basically saying.
Hmm. And see what happens
Aware.
for most people is they once they become aware of breast cancer and it affects them personally, hits somebody in their family, they become aware of it, and then it becomes their badge of honor to bring awareness to this situation by wearing a pink ribbon or wearing a T-shirt that says "I'm a survivor," or
Meaning,
but it doesn't.
meaning
No one's talking about how to prevent it.
right. Meaning, let's take now that I've got it, I'm gonna try to stop you from getting it. That
Right.
kind of thing.
Hmm.
Wow, we're doomed. We're doomed. Okay, we're not doomed, but society's doomed. We're not doomed, but society's doomed because we take preventive measures now. We're not waiting to have it. We're taking steps to not have it now because we've already been aware before we ever had it. So that's the
And
benefit.
the one
Okay,
thing I like about here's the one thing I like about what we're doing. What I personally take pride in what we're doing is everything that we offer is for healing, but it's also for prevention. So it's really so the best way to take our products on our website is for prevention. So if you don't want to ever get cancer, take SAT so that you won't get cancer. However, if you do get cancer, it's the same thing. Take SAT. See, so you can either fix it. You can either prevent yourself from having it by using the products, or you can fix the problem after you catch the disease to get the problem to get. But it's
I
pointless
like
to
that.
fix something when you can prevent it.
Right. I like that. That was really good. I like that. www.herbsoftheforest.com. 888-619-4372. Listen, we're herbalists who have a desire to help anyone who wishes to be helped. It's that simple. We don't have all the answers, but we sure don't mind helping somebody find them, somebody that wants them. We do the research. So, join us, help us, be a part of it, and let's all help somebody. My name is Forrest Gump, and today's show was about breast cancer slash mammography. Next show, I don't know what it's going to be about, but if you have a topic you want to talk about, by all means, text us and let us know. We'll talk about it. Uh, that's going to be our show today. Thanks for listening. And until next Saturday, we're going to say peace out of here. All
All
right,
right, you
Mr.
guys have a
Todd?
nice day. All right,
All right. Peace.
bye.
Yes.